Green Bay's rookies are off and running. New teammates, new standards.
You prime them for how hard they got to go and everything they do.
And a new level of competition.
If you have that, it's going to bring out the best in the entire team.
We hear from the Packers GM and his top picks. A special post-draft edition of Total Packers starts now. Hello and welcome to the Total Packers Draft Report presented by Software One. Larry McCarron along with Mike Spofford and Wes Hotkowitz. And gentlemen, like the name says, let's report on the draft. And Mike, what do you think the Packers got done during the 2024 draft?
Well, I think they got a lot of depth and competition at spots that looked a little thin going into the draft, and those spots aren't thin anymore. These guys are going to be battling for roster spots for playing time during training camp. There's going to be a lot of stuff to watch this summer.
Wes, your thoughts on what the Packers accomplished?
A lot of experience, Larry. I mean, you look at some of these guys, and we'll dive more into them later in the show, but guys that have played and started over 50 games in college, guys that have seen a lot of things, played a lot of positions, and I think when you get to this level, when you have that much of a background in things, it can really help you not look at the NFL as so much of this insurmountable hill, but rather just that next step.
I think they addressed some needs and brought in a boatload of competition to an already good team. And of course, it all started with the selection of Jordan Morgan in the first round. Let's go to Detroit.
The Green Bay Packers select Jordan Morgan.
A lot of talent, and he's experienced at left tackle.
I've seen a good athlete, great footwork, good balance.
The thing that impressed me the most is his tenacity, his resiliency.
Can't wait to get to Green Bay and get to work. Go, Pack, go.
You've devoted most of your young life to football. What do you like about football?
I like the work you have to put in to get to where you're at. I mean, the process, the weightlifting, the studying, everything, just to see your product on the field, see the outcome. I mean, on the field, you do whatever you need to do to get them out the way. You can be dirty, you can talk mean, you can do whatever you need to do. That's what I love about it.
A lot of young players coming in, they don't appreciate the details because they were talented enough to beat the guy across from them in college. But you figured that out early. Are you just a smart guy, or how did you figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, once you figure out the details of a defender, it all comes easier. You won't stress as much, you won't overthink as much just because you studied the player, you know them. It takes so much stress off your game and so much stress off of everything else on the field.
And for the Arizona touchdown.
Versatile offensive lineman like we like. I feel he could probably play 4 positions for us. Two-time team captain, just our kind of guy. And really excited.
Brian Gutekunst said you could be a 4-position player. Do you imagine, hey, I'd much prefer that it winds up that I play left tackle? How do you look at that?
I mean, playing all the positions that they want me to play. I mean, all the positions that I can play and learn and get all the tools in my tool belt. At the end of the day, I would love to play left tackle and show all my talents and strengths at left tackle because I've been there for so long. And I feel like that's where I'll strive the most. But I mean, any position's fine with me too.
Watching your tape, man, can you move your feet?
It's a natural thing, but it's also a lot of footwork stuff. In my childhood, we had a wash next to our house. It was full of sand, and that's where I'd go run and do a bunch of football movement stuff. But I was skinnier when I was younger. I wasn't a lineman.
You didn't start out as a lineman,
yeah,
did you?
I wanted to be a quarterback. So, I mean, I tried out for quarterback. I got bigger, got fatter, got taller. Transferred high schools, and that's when they realized, like, oh, you're big enough to go play tackle. So put me at tackle, and that's where I did the best.
Another thing I've noticed, Jordan, about your play style, you are a finisher.
Throws that way, touchdown.
It was something that Arizona emphasized. I mean, it just stuck with me. All the older guys were always like, man, you should bury this guy. You should be doing more. You should do extra. Like, it doesn't matter what size they are. It doesn't matter how quick they are. Just finish. That's the most important thing.
You're a nice guy, but on the field, it doesn't hurt to be a little bit of a jerk and to bury the guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Jordan, what are your hopes, dreams, and aspirations for your rookie season in Green Bay?
Gaining the trust of everybody on the team, everybody in the staff room, everybody around the facility, all the fans, and I hope to win a Super Bowl and bring it back here.
The Packers drafted not one, but 3 offensive linemen. Along with Morgan, this trio includes Jacob Monk, who can play center and guard, as well as Travis Glover, who's played primarily tackle. As for Green Bay's defensive picks,
The Green Bay Packers select Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker.
He's a guy that can spy athletic quarterbacks.
Cooper has another sack. Spy man Edgerrin Cooper.
The speed he brings to the table at the linebacker position is rare.
Edgerrin Cooper, man, he's all over the field.
Javon Bullard, defensive back.
Picked! Bullard has it!
if it's run or if it's pass, he shows up.
Hit again and dropped again. Tyron Hopper.
Evan Williams, defensive back. He got run over. Evan Williams again.
I'm just ready to, help this team win a Super Bowl.
Watching Oladapo, I saw size that you love as a downhill hitter.
Hit after Travis Hunter comes up with a catch.
Very good athlete. He can pedal, he can flip, he can turn.
Great defensive play. Kalen King.
I know that Green Bay seen something in me, so I'm glad they took a chance, and I'm happy to be here.
And from inside the Packers draft room, more on those defensive selections. Here's part one of my exclusive conversation with GM Brian Gutekunst. So Goody, this is like the boardroom. I don't think I've ever been in the draft room before. It's really cool. I mean, this is where it all goes on, huh?
Yeah, for us, this is an everyday workroom. It's not just for the draft. Our personnel staff works in and out of here, year round, and it's really a functional room. I have a hard time thinking anybody has it better than we got, but yeah, this is where we spend most of our time, and probably where I'm the most comfortable.
Now, you drafted 11 players, and history says most of them will make the team. Now, you've said we're not out to be the youngest team in the league every year, but you do want to be green and growing. Could you explain that?
Yeah, I think that's an old Paul Brown term, if I'm not mistaken. I think I heard that somewhere, but I think you have to keep growing and you have to keep getting better. And in the National Football League, for players, obviously, there comes a time where maybe that is tough just physically, when you get to a certain spot in your career where it's tough to do. So we want all these guys to continue to grow, to continue to get better. I think the best way to do that is to have competition within the rooms. I think competition brings out the best in all players. It really allows the cream to rise to the top. So I think that's kind of the idea. We want to be explosive, fast, and have guys that still have something left in the tank to get better with. And I think if you have that, it's going to bring out the best in the entire team.
Brian, I'm excited to see Edgerrin Cooper in pads. Is that excitement justified?
Yeah, I think seeing all these guys in Green Bay Packer uniforms out on our field is something that's a little bit like, Christmas Day for scouts, right? This is a very exciting time for all 32 teams because there's a lot of hope, and obviously if you pick guys in the draft, you felt good about them. We brought a lot of speed and athleticism to our team through this draft, and certainly Edgerrin is going to be right up there. I mean, his length, speed, and his playmaking ability is, once he gets into our defense, understands it, and in his comfort zone, it'll allow him to make a lot of plays for us.
Edgerrin Cooper gets the sack on fourth down.
The 3 safeties, Bullard, Williams, and Oladapo, play the same position but different guys. Does each one have his own hole card, shall we say? What differentiates the 3?
They're all very aggressive downhill players that will hit you, and I think That's certainly something we were looking for. In Williams and Bullard's case, I think they have a lot of flexibility within playing slot and nickel, as well as safety. They both can play in the post. They both can come down and play in the box. Oladapo's a little bit more of a traditional, free and strong safety, can play both of those. I think if he comes down and plays in the nickels, he'll be a little bit more like a big nickel Sam linebacker, will linebacker type. And I think all three of them have exceptional ability to play on teams as well. So they're very versatile in different ways, but I think they're all going to have an opportunity to help us in more than one way.
And picked! Bullard has it!
In your evaluations, do you feel a responsibility to uphold the culture that you have in your locker room? Because it is exemplary. Do you feel like a responsibility? We need to keep this going.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things that your culture in your locker room is going to come from your players. I think who you put in there, particularly when you have a strong culture like we do, I think it's only fair to those guys that the guys you bring in there are that way as well. Certainly we want to keep that going. Every year it's a little bit different and it can change, but it's going to change with the kind of guys you're putting in the locker room. There will be adversity in an NFL season. There always is. And I think one thing that was really good to see from our team last year is when we hit that adversity, how they came together, they didn't go apart. And the guys that we brought in through this draft, we're going to expect them to kind of be the same kind of guys. That when tough times come, we're going to band together and put the team first. And these guys that we brought in through this draft class, for the most part, showed that they were able to do that in college. And so usually if they've done that there, they know how to do that. They know how to play a role. They know how to be a good teammate, and that's important.
Back. We go back.
Coming up, more with Brian Gutekunst, plus we sit down with new Packers safety Xavier McKinney. Next.
Adding 3 more guys in the safety room is a special thing for me because I'll be able to just bring them in and welcome them with open arms and help them be able to learn the game. Put it all out there, be all in on what we're trying to get accomplished as a team. I'm a 5th-year safety, Xavier McKinney, and I got a few words for the rookies. Some of my early impressions of the team and just of the defensive group, I've been impressed with everybody, and definitely the talent level is out the roof. Adding 3 more guys in the safety room is a special thing for me because I'll be able to just bring them in and welcome them with open arms and help them be able to learn the game. And seeing those guys and seeing what their tape is like, have really good talent. Obviously seeing what we already have, it's just going to be adding more and building more. So I would say I'm pretty happy, and I know half is happy too. To the class this year, I would say let's work. Put it all out there, be all in on what we're trying to get accomplished as a team. Let's all push in the same direction, and it's gonna be a hell of a year. It's gonna be a special year, I can feel it. Obviously everybody's here at OTA, so that's a really good sign. And don't worry about too much of the outside noise, man. We gotta worry about what we have in this building and hold each other accountable and always compete, and the rest will take care of itself.
Great advice from Xavier McKinney, who's been making a terrific first impression during the team's off-season program. Back to the draft picks, and Mike, who do you see as making an immediate impact?
Well, I think there's a guy who could be starting right next to McKinney at the safety spot in this Packers defense, and it's Javon Bullard, the 2nd-round pick at safety out of Georgia. He's got the length, he's got the speed, he's a tackler. As the Packers coaches said, you don't play in Kirby Smart's defense at Georgia and not be able to tackle. Now, Evan Williams or Oladapo could get into that safety mix as well, but Bullard was drafted in the 2nd round for a reason. I think he could be a day 1 starter.
Wes, who's your favorite to play and produce right away?
Larry, my favorite guy was also my favorite guy during the last time we did Total Packers, and that was Edgerrin Cooper. And the Packers got him in the 2nd round. He runs just a tick faster than Quay Walker. Doesn't have Walker's size, but when you think about those 2 guys with this defense going to a 4-3, guys that can really go sideline to sideline, get downfield, I'm excited to see what he can do in this defense.
I like Cooper as well. There's opportunity at the position he plays, and he's got the ability to take advantage of that opportunity. And on that note, we resume our conversation with Brian Gutekunst. When you look at the just completed draft, you've had some time to digest it, shall we say. What do you think?
You know, I think I'm really excited about it. I mean, a lot of the things we were able to do through this draft really matched up with some of the needs our football team needed. Now, these guys got to come in and they got to buy into our culture, work, become a really good team member and put the team before themselves and learn how to be professional football players. So there's a lot of work to be done, but I really feel that all these guys that we selected, and history will say that not all of them are going to make it, but I feel all these guys have an opportunity to be really good players if they buy into it, and that's exciting. I think they can become valuable members of our team one way or another, and I do think that they're good culture guys that will fit in, so I'm excited about that.
I thought it was interesting when you said over the past couple days, no, you don't draft for need, but subconsciously it may enter into the equation. Could you talk about that a little bit?
We put our scouts out into the world, so to speak, to go to these schools and start to look at players. We're specifically scouting for the Green Bay Packers, not the National Football League. So when they put grades on players, they're grading them for us, not necessarily for the National Football League. So I think sometimes they're very well aware of our team. We study our team a lot. We talk about our team, where it's at, where we need to get better, where we need to get stronger. When we're specifically scouting for the Green Bay Packers, I think sometimes those needs are baked in there because you're comparing players that are out there, whether it's in the free agency market or whether it's in the college draft, to how they'll fit with the Green Bay Packers. And if you have certain needs or maybe places where you need to get stronger, I think it just kind of gets baked in there a little bit to how you build your board. Over my time, I've seen that match up a little bit, and it certainly did.
Brian, in the 21 draft, 5 quarterbacks were taken in the first 15 players. 4 of those quarterbacks have already been traded for a day 3 pick. Nothing against day 3 picks,
right,
but they're not the top run, okay? Why has Jordan been able to succeed when so many people at that position don't?
That's a great question, and you know better than anybody how hard it is to play that position in the National Football League. The amount of processing and things that happen pre-snap and then everything that happens post-snap, there's just a lot that goes into it. We've had great fortune to be able to sit him for 3 years and allow him to grow into that spot, but you have to give him a lot of credit, the work that he's put in. And then when the opportunity came, not only was he ready and he seized it, but even through the adversity, he didn't let it bury him. He came out of it the other side. And that's a credit to who he is and how hard he works and what, quite frankly, the team around him and how they believe in him. So again, it's an inexact science, this thing, the draft, and when you're picking players, it's a lot for a quarterback. It's a lot put on his plate. And to see kind of Jordan where he is right now, and there's going to be new challenges, and there's going to be more put on his plate as he goes forward. But certainly what he's done so far since he's been here gives us a lot of confidence that he's going to be able to tackle those challenges.
Last thing for you, the biggest challenge facing the 2024 Packers.
Yeah, handling success. I'd like to think that the way last year ended was positive. It didn't finish exactly how we wanted it to, but there's going to be new challenges moving forward, and some of that will be handling the success and staying together as a team. So tough to predict what's going to come at you, whether it's injuries, different things from inside your building. But these guys sticking together through the ups and the downs is usually the challenges that you have to get through to have a successful season.
Coming up, we get to know 3rd-round pick MarShawn Lloyd, and he's got a hidden talent that Packers fans may get to see this fall.
After I do the Lambeau leap, I'm going to show a little. I'm MarShawn Lloyd, and here's a little bit about me. In the NFL level right now, get a lot of comparisons to, Josh Jacobs is here right now, and then DeAndre Swift, just a mixture of those two. Just the elusiveness, being able to, get in and out of the cuts, break, and then get vertical, go 0 to 100 real fast.
Foot race, Lloyd wins, touchdown.
My favorite hobby off the field is Call of Duty. Best Call of Duty player you'll probably meet. I play with a lot of my teammates, so I feel like that's something big that I've been able to, contribute to my life. Hidden talent, I can flip. I can do all types of flips. Hey, Christian Watson, you're not the only back flipper in the building.
Wow!
Running out of the tumble on the Lambeau Field will mean everything to me. You know, small town kid, you know, dreams come true. You know, the Lambeau and Lambeau Leap and everything that has to do with the Green Bay Packers, it'll be a dream come true for sure. I've seen what we were capable of last year, and I know this year is even bigger, so I'm just super excited to chase that Super Bowl.
Last year at Southern Cal, MarShawn Lloyd found pay dirt 9 times while eclipsing 800 rushing yards. And his 7.1 average ranked 4th in the nation among running backs. Back with Mike and Wes. And Mike, who among the draft picks might surprise?
Well, I'm going to go with the 5th round pick out of Duke, and that's offensive lineman Jacob Monk. Now, we may not hear too much from him as a rookie, but this is a guy that I could see really factoring into the Packers' offensive line picture down the road. He's played multiple positions, as Wes was talking about earlier, one of these guys who started 50-plus games in college. He was a team captain. He's a real leader. The Packers see him as possibly a guard or a center. It may take him a while to really make an impact, but I think we're going to be hearing from Jacob Monk down the road.
Wes, who's going to surprise us?
For me, Larry, it's Kalen King out of Penn State. And I know everybody's talked about the 7th round comparisons, him, Carrington Valentine a year ago, but I just like the way the guy plays. I like his competitiveness. And the Packers did something really interesting with him going into the nickel and the slot during the rookie minicamp. I think that's a position he really wasn't utilized a lot at Penn State. Could potentially be a home for him in the NFL.
I like a couple of mid-round picks, 4th rounder Evan Williams and the 5th rounder Jacob Monk. I like what both those guys did in the rookie camp. Gentlemen, thank you. And thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.